Lucas, do you think, well, I don't want to give a spoiler alert, but what we're going to talk about today is buying a house like a personal residence a good investment, or are you just throwing money away? Are you excited to chat about this?
I am, yeah. We've got personal houses, but we've also been on the other side of that as renters, and then we have a lot of rental properties as well. We also sell a lot of homes to future homeowners, so we're on both sides of this and can probably speak to this super well.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. This is one of the many common arguments that comes up online a lot that I see from people in the real estate space, people in the financial space, and there's a lot of strong opinions on this about having a personal residence. Should you always rent, like Grant Cardone says? Should you buy your house and it's fine, but it's not an investment, or is it and can it be a tool? So we're going to kind of cover all of that right now. So Lucas, what do you think about the pros and cons of buying a personal residence?
What do I think about the pros and cons? Or do I think are the pros and cons?
There you go. That works too.
Oh, man. So, where do we want to start? Can we talk about some more opinions real quick? Let's set the table a little bit.
Let's do it.
There's people on social media, and maybe even not social media, just in normal conversation, that believe something, right? Grant Cardone's a big one, right? He thinks it's a terrible idea to
ever
buy
own
a house. Yeah. I think he's done it a couple times and then kicks himself for doing it or something. But he's buying houses that aren't your normal type of houses that he's buying. But anyway, and then what I hear the other side of the argument, where I hear it a lot from, is realtors. But to me, it all comes back to just your beliefs, what you believe in, what you know. What do you talk about on social media a lot? Building wealth with the rental property, through rental properties, right? Because you know that, you believe in it, so that's what you talk about. And I think that's just people have different beliefs and different things. That's okay, right?
Well, I think some of it's self-serving.
Most of it is.
Grant wants to have more people to rent from his properties, and realtors want to sell more houses.
And you want more students to build rental portfolios.
But that's nothing to do with residential. That's where it's different. My opinion has nothing to do with my single family rental opinion. Is nothing. Well, I'm just saying, mine's not self-serving, because whether someone buys a personal house or not has nothing to do with whether they're going to be.
Not on this particular strategy, but what you talk about.
Yeah. Oh, yes, 100%. Sure. But yes, this specific strategy is.
But it's also I don't think they're saying it because they don't believe it. They actually believe that about
potentially,
this.
But they're wrong. I don't know. I mean.
But Grant for real believes that and will die on that horse. Is that a
yes?
saying?
I get die on that hill is a thing.
I think he
beat a dead horse. I think he goes a little bit above me. I don't. I die on that horse. Hand, foot, and mouth. And
that's correct.
2 birds in hand.
Yes.
And cat, birds.
Have you ever had hand, foot, and mouth?
Yes, I have. So have you. We got it the same. You gave it to me.
I think I did.
Your son gave it to you. You gave it to me. I gave it to my daughter, and I had it. So thank you for that.
That was a mess.
My face looked like a leper. But regardless,
leopard?
A leper.
Okay, leopard.
Yeah, I like Grant. Okay, I don't know that he is 100% convicted in everything he says these days. I think he's gone a little bit over the edge. But maybe I'm wrong.
I hear you.
That's a different opinion. But yeah, I mean, nothing wrong with Grant. I get it. But he's definitely gonna say whatever he can to make money.
And whether it's true or not, what he says is he rents. He doesn't own his condo or whatever in Miami. So at least.
But his house in LA or a house in California that burnt down, he owned.
Yeah. I think he's ended up being pissed that he bought it or something. He was so excited when he bought it. He's like, the only reason I bought this because you can't replace this real estate. You can't. Which I get it. But
so he's in the side of never buy a house.
Yeah,
that's the crowd he's in.
It's the worst investment.
It's a liability. It's not an asset.
And not just hey, you shouldn't do this. He's very opinionated.
Yes.
That is the worst thing you could do. It'll ruin your financial wealth building journey.
Yes, although statistics show that people that own a house have 44 times higher net worth than renters. Just saying. That's a stat that is out there. So
if I was Grant, here's how I'd counter you.
Okay.
He goes, but that's the middle class, right? You don't want to be in the middle class. You want to be this.
Well, guess what? You have to work your way up.
Yeah.
We can't all. I'm not gonna be an astronaut, so maybe I'll work on getting my pilot license. So you just got to work your way up. Is the point?
You should learn how to drive your zero turn first.
I don't have a zero turn.
Well, maybe get one.
The old Archway does that for me. All right. So it's a liability, not an asset. People say renting is smarter, and they're saying which this one I don't understand. Put your money into real assets, stocks, but you have to pay to live somewhere. So you're either paying for your rental or you're paying for your mortgage. Either way, you're paying. It's not like you get to live for free.
And I think there's some great statistics out there on like the cost of home ownership versus cost of renting, and it fluctuates. Like one's more expensive than the other sometimes. Because your rent is going to be higher than your mortgage, like from a monthly like payment standpoint, cash outflow. But with the cost of taxes going up and interest rates and insurance. I think late last year sometime, the cost of home ownership eclipsed the cost of renting. So it is slightly more expensive right now.
That can rarely happen. Okay, good. So we got the never buy a house, and then we got the only buy, never rent crowd. So they're saying rent is just throwing away money. Whether your mortgage is 3% or 6%, it's 100% when it's rent because it doesn't go towards anything. It's kind of that side of it. Home ownership, there's pride in owning a home. That's part of you do things.
It's American dream, bro.
Well, who was JFK? One of the presidents said that. But like it turned this whole thing, the American dream is owning a house. And then it can force you to put money somewhere. It's kind of another side of like you're forced to make a rental payment, but technically you can get out of, I think, a lease a little bit easier than a mortgage. So it gives you a little bit more of a commitment. So those are kind of, there's the never rent, never buy, and then some people in the middle.
I hear it both.
Where are you on the spectrum?
Well, I would say probably majority of people here in St. Louis are I hear like the never rent, you're throwing money away more here in middle America.
Yeah.
From a national standpoint, like social media and stuff, you hear a little bit more in the other stuff with the gurus. Where am I? So I am...
you lean to a side, you're pretty in the middle.
Well, like I said, I've done both. Gosh, this is tough because I lean towards buying your house.
Okay.
That's where I lean. But I do think there's a time and place for renting.
Yes. What are those times and places?
Like, for example, outside of college, and I went against this, actually. I bought a house. But for a while, when I moved to a different city, didn't know the city, didn't know where I wanted to live, what part of the cities were good or bad, I rented for a while. And when I moved back to St. Louis, I did the same thing, and when in between building some of my houses, I rented for a while too. So there's a time and place for renting. I think there's a lot of different scenarios in someone's life that renting makes way more sense than going to buy a house. So the
short term, when you're undecided, the biggest thing you're saying is when you are working on a permanent residence somewhere or you're undecided where to live, you think it's more costly to rent than to buy. But if you want to live somewhere for 5 years, do you still think rent or buy?
If you know where you want to live, you know the area, and you know you're going to be in that area or place for 5 years, I would buy. Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. No, I definitely lean towards the buy side. That is, I'm very much towards that side. One of the things I have written down in my notes that we got to have formulated and real but stronger opinions, I think, are important because we're just so I am going to take the strong side that I think it's way better to buy. I think it's not even close. 44 times higher net worth for home ownership. When you own a home, you can write off those high real estate taxes. You can write off your interest. You can write off your insurance. You can write things off when you own a home. When you rent, there's no write-offs. There's none of those things. So and you are building equity. I built my house in Peruke Ridge for $392,000. When I sold it, it was worth $680,000, and I owed like $250,000. I then took that equity that I created over time and put that into my house that I live in now. Had I been renting, I would have had zero equity. I would have had to come out of pocket hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'd come out zero out of pocket. I guess technically you could say I did it over those 5 or 6 years I lived there. But as far as like just cash on my bank account, I didn't have to do anything. And I have a nice house that I didn't have to put a cash payment down on because of the equity. So you don't get any of that with rentals.
There's and the tax code, like you said, is meant for not only investors but homeowners as well. Like you get to write off your interest. And when you sell the house and make that profit, like you said, it is tax-free.
That's another. You get if you're married, up to $500,000.
Yep.
Tax-free. I think they're switching it, which makes sense because houses are more expensive, to $1 million married and $500,000 tax. If you're single now, it's $250,000 and $500,000. So I think it's. I'm not going to call it it's an investment, but it's not a liability. I guess it's somewhere between. I guess it's not an asset because it doesn't produce cash, but it does produce cash through tax savings.
Yeah.
And then, so it's definitely, it's, in my opinion, it's 80% asset, 20% liability.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. I think it's the whole reason why, I particularly got started in owning rental
Talk
properties.
about that. Your perfect example of your two houses side by side in Kansas City. Give story time, Uncle Lucas.
Yeah, so after I moved
Uncle
to Kansas
Lou,
City out of school and got a job, and after I rented for a while in the city, I wanted to move out to this suburb that was closer to my office, and I was looking to rent again because I had. I didn't know how long I wanted to live there, right? I didn't know it was going to be 5 years, and it wasn't. So I was like, renting is probably the best thing to do. So I was looking to rent, and I needed a house because I had dogs, right? I had 3 dogs. And number
That's
one,
a lot of dogs.
It is a lot of dogs. And number one, it was almost impossible to find a property management company that would allow my dogs. Number one.
And 3 dogs and pits.
Yeah.
A couple of them pits.
Exactly. So people telling me what kind of animals I can have in my house, I don't want to fucking deal with that. I want to do what I want to do in my own house. So I was also making $44,000, and the 3-bedroom, I think it was 1 bath, was for rent for like $1,300, and after taxes, my take-home pay, that would be really hard to afford at $4,400. Like damn near half my income, little less.
They shouldn't have approved you if they did because you didn't make 3 times.
Yeah, I think it was gross. They did back then, or some companies do. But anyway, the house next door was for sale by owner, and I went and talked to them, and kind of negotiated a little bit, and met with the mortgage broker. I'm like, what would this even look like? I don't even know. I'm 24 years old, never done this before, especially without a real estate agent. No idea what I'm doing, but figured it out, got approved for a loan, and that same exact house, my mortgage payment, my insurance escrow, and my tax escrow was $740.
So half.
Yeah.
A little less than half.
Yeah, at that particular time, there was the rates were. This was 2012, so rates were in the shitter. So got good rates, so that helped the affordability as well. But that is the gap a lot of times from renting to buying, at least here in the Midwest. I know that's a different gaps in different markets, but that alone forced me to think about owning rental properties as an investment. Like we own them and then we rent them out and make the difference. That's what we do.
Yep, and it's not high margins because of the other expenses, the management and all of those things, and vacancies and maintenance. But yeah, it only makes sense that it's an investment if somebody else is paying the mortgage, but it can still be considered investment if you're paying the mortgage just because of all of the things that we mentioned. So yeah, I don't think it's particularly close. And the big, or one of the arguments that I hear, Lucas, is the 20% down. So that is a big thing, that you don't need that if you're owning a rental property. You don't need that 20% down.
If you're renting?
Yes.
Yeah.
But there are things like FHA where you can get 3.5%. You can do the 5% down. There's USDA stuff. There's VA. There's a lot of ways to get around, especially your first house, being that not having to come out of pocket 20%.
Yep. There's a conventional loan, 5%. You'll have to pay PMI, but most cases it's not that much. It's like an extra $30-$40 a month.
You know what the best thing to do solution for all this is, Lucas?
Yeah. What?
House hack.
House hack or burn it.
Or burn it. Well, tell them about burn. House hacking is you buying a property and renting out the rooms, or Brendan's looking at doing this, or buying a duplex or a triplex or a fourplex, and you're not even paying the mortgage. Somebody else is, and you get to live there. So it's kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
So house hacking is a really cool thing.
Yeah, I think 5% downs. Lenders like 20% equity.
Correct.
And it's good for the homeowner to have that too. It keeps you at a nice, safe margin, in case you get a little dip in the housing market, you go underwater. You don't want that. So the less you put down, the more at risk you are for stuff like that, and the higher your mortgage payment's going to be.
Correct.
So how we teach our team members to get into homeownership, because we believe in it, right? We think it's way better than renting.
Way better.
Yeah.
Scared Brendan.
You buy a house that needs some work, and you fix it up, and then when you fix it up, you force that appreciation and build in that equity right there. Then you go get it appraised and refinance out of it. And if you did it right, you'll be all into it for 80%, and they'll give you you can pay back your short-term money loan at the beginning, and have 20% equity with zero money out of pocket. So
we've had how many people do that now?
Probably 10.
Yeah.
Probably
I guess so.
10.
We've had students do it too. So yeah, we've had quite a few people do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think. So I look at it as more of an asset than liability, as we said. My definition of an asset, which I guess there's one, but it's buying something that goes up in value and produces cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
Real estate does, or your house does one of those things.
Yeah.
Liabilities are buying something that goes down in value and doesn't produce cash flow. So it's kind of a mix, but I definitely lean more towards the asset side. So
For sure.
if somebody is, I guess, knows where they want to live, which most people do, not always, and is looking for a good place to spend $2,000 a month, I think it's much better to spend on your personal house than a rental property. Lucas Timothy Walls.
Yeah, I love that.
That's his full name, in case you know, is Lucas Timothy Walls.
Yeah, I think that the first house for anybody, if you're looking to buy, you got roots planted. It's the hardest one. It's hard to save up a down payment. I get that, especially in this market, right? Whether it's 5% or 20%, it's hard. But if you can,
that's what she said.
If you can, or you do one of those other methods to just get into the game at an entry-level house, it'll set you up for your entire generation for wealth building, because you can stay in that house, pay down the mortgage, pay down the principal balance, stay in there, let appreciation do its thing over the course of time, and then sell it and do what you did and take that money, and you can keep it. You don't have to put it into another house. You can keep it, keep that extra $50,000 you just made, $100,000, whatever it is, and invest that into something that produces cash, and then go rent if you want. But you got to start somewhere, right? Or you can trade up and put that as a down payment on a much nicer house that you were able to get into because you started with that one house. And as you grow and build a family, you probably need a little different house, a little different setup. That's just necessary. So it's a beautiful thing, my man. And yeah, a couple examples for me. I'll give all my examples.
Do them,
right?
give them all.
So bought a house, first house, when I moved back to St. Louis. Not the one in Kansas City, but bought the first house for $150,000.
Okay.
I think. Lived there for 3 years. I think we put 5% down, so we were paying PMI, but it wasn't that much. So maybe I was paid down to, I don't know, 135, give or take, and then I sold it for $170,000. Right? I made $20,000 net when I sold it. Put that down on a new build, and I bought a house for, I think it was $297,000. So I put 10% down, give or take, on that house. Still had PMI. Lived there for 4 years, Sam. Paid that down to, so I bought it for $297, put down 20, let's say 30. So I had a 270, paid that down to 250.
Okay.
Sold it for 340. Right? So I cleared tax-free, maybe, what was that? Maybe $70,000. $70,000, and then I bought my house with that down payment, with that cash from that house. Bought a $697,000 house, $692, and put down 20% on that house with that cash and a little bit of other cash I had, and still live in that house today. That was 5 years ago, and the neighbor's house, that's the exact same house as mine, just sold for $1.29 million. So we got some equity. Now I'm paid down to $540.
So you got $700,000-800,000 in equity
Just by buying that, just by coming up with about $5,000 for a down payment for my first house.
Yeah,
that's what did it for me. $7,000 maybe.
That's the whole. You don't get that with rentals, and
$7,000 to make $600,000.
And the best house to buy is a rental house where somebody else pays the mortgage. Yeah. But I would rather pay my own mortgage than pay somebody else's mortgage, and that's when you're renting.
Yeah, and I think investment-wise,
you move a lot, bro. I guess this exact same house, right? I did, Lake St. Louis, Wright City, Wentzville.
You did more.
Yeah, because I'm that dude.
Yeah, I'm tired of moving. It sucks.
I'm good for a while.
Yeah, so that's another thing right there. Moving sucks. Like if you know you want to be somewhere and plant your roots, like plant them then, right? And this is the best way to do it, I think. And we hit the investment side, but it's more than just an investment, right? It's your family. I know you're supposed to when people buy their personal residence, it's not money's a piece of it, but it's also a lot of feelings and emotion
and
that
peace
go
of
into
mind.
that.
And
Yeah.
not all landlords are like us. There's shitty landlords, slumlords out there that are
Yeah.
going to jack up people's rent or mess with them or try and, not let them renew their lease. Like technically after the year's up, if the landlord says, no, we're going to get somebody else here or sell it or do something else, you have to go move. Like you don't have control. You're a year by year basis. And that can be a little bit unsettling for you and your family if you want to grow there and have memories there. So I love that. There's the financial side, there's the emotional side, and there's just the pride and ownership, having your own house and taking care of it. And,
I would say that's emotional.
being in an area where there's more homeowners tends to be nicer areas than areas that are more rentals. So you're going to have a better, not all the time. I feel like most of the time you're going to have nicer places to live if you're looking to buy than rent.
And it market by market, sub-market by sub-market, like what I was looking for my family was like 1 to 3 acres, 3,000 square foot house. There's not a lot of rentals available in that.
And if they are,
if you want to live in the city, there's a lot more opportunities to rent. And I could see that being the case there. But where I wanted to be was not that. And I wouldn't have been able to find it as a rental.
No, I get it. And the more I think about it, I think it's somewhat market specific. I think if some people were in the Midwest and understood the numbers, they would probably maybe say buy. But I still like. Again, I actually like rent. Okay, I know you've kind of softened on them a little bit out there, but I don't understand how you would tell somebody in an affordable market to rent instead of buy. It just makes. I mean, in a 10-year period, you're literally, if it's let's say $2,000 a month, what is that? I don't even know. What is that? How much?
48.
How much?
48,000.
No, well, 10 or 12 times. 2,000 a month, so you're paying 24,000 times 240,000. That's $250,000 that you get no benefit from, as opposed to buying and living.
Yeah, and here's another way it does put money in your pocket. So, I owe $550K on my house, and I think it could appraise for, let's say, 125 right now, a little less than what both my neighbors' houses just sold for. I can get a home equity line of credit of 80% of that, which is $1 million. So I get a $450,000 difference between the 80% of that and my current loan balance. So I can get a $450,000 home equity line of credit.
And you can use in your business
at 7.5%, right? And I could lend that out at 12.15.
And you have.
I could, utilize that money for our rental acquisitions, short-term money there before we refinance. There's so many different ways you could leverage that decently cheap money to go make more money.
Yep. No, I agree. And why are both your neighbors moving? Are you guys like walking around outside naked or doing some weird stuff or what?
Yeah, it was kind of weird. It was like back to back.
They're just like, we got to get away from this guy. He's sketchy.
Yeah, my kids do walk around naked, so he peed in the driveway the other day. I'm like, bro.
Hey, you got it, flown it, bro.
Yeah, you got it.
Let them see what you got, bro.
Where'd they learn that trick from?
They did,
Good point. Yeah.
I wonder where they learned that.
Model appropriately.
Yeah. Where did he write? Did he write his name? Like write your? That's from what? That Big Daddy.
That's from
write
Big
your name on.
Daddy's,
What's your name? Will write on the wall.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. No, I am. My stance is pretty firm that I think in most circumstances, I'm going to say 75% of the time, it makes more sense to buy than rent. Grant, stop saying self-serving shit just for views. Yeah. All right, so that got Lucas laughing though. All right, Lucas. So did you see? Quick pivot. Did you see the shirts that the WNBA players were at the All-Star game? What do you think about that?
So the shirt says,
it was worded stupidly, by the way.
Pay us what you owe us, right?
It could have been worded much better.
So let's back up here. We've done a lot of episodes on Caitlin Clark's effect to the WNBA and the effect she has on valuations of the league, valuations of individual franchises in the WA, and also revenue, right? Revenue's up big too. So I haven't seen the financials. The WNBA probably don't even know what they're making.
They don't know what the hell they're doing.
So I do think they're heading in the right direction, but I think it's a little too soon to like just jack up a whole bunch of salaries to figure out like what they even have. They're like, oh, because they've never been profitable before.
The number I saw that most, and I get a lot of stuff gets construed, is they lost $40 million last year, the year before.
Yeah. So and then you make money for 2 months, and then everybody gets a raise. It's just hard to run a business like that. Period. So I do agree it's coming, especially if this this trend continues, they absolutely are deserving. But it just doesn't happen overnight, especially when you've lost $40 million for the past however many years.
Yeah, I think it should be more like pay us what we deserve, maybe not what you owe us. They're owed nothing.
Yeah.
It's a losing business. The issue with it is very few, I feel like, maybe I'm wrong, very few savvy, smart business owners, we've done this the wrong way, buy on potential. Like you do a little bit, but like potential is going to do well.
Yeah.
We bought apartment complexes thinking they're going to do well. Some of them, with Cherry, doubled in value almost in freaking 2 years. So obviously some of them haven't. So there's risk to buying or getting into something that is future potentials. Like I think the franchise.
Even if you have a game plan to get it there, sometimes your game plan doesn't work.
We've seen it working and not work. I think it used to be $50 million, a new like startup fee. Now it's $250 million. I saw Dave Portnoy say. He's like, I don't think the WNBA would let me because all the people are running it. But he's like, I would get $250 million tomorrow if they let me open up a team in Boston, because he's like, that's the trajectory of it. So I think they are
100%, because they already got, I think what the New York Liberty was worth almost $500 million already.
So he's obviously a smart business guy. Does well. He's like, I would and that'd be cool. I think that'd be sick if he owned one in Boston. He's like, and he's got some of the funds, equity, and partnerships to do that. He legitimately could own a WNBA team, probably outright or close to it, which is really cool. But I disagree. He's way better at this than he's just like, maybe you all don't have as big brain as me, and that's how he talks. But I think that they probably are owed more. I mean, Caitlin Clark should be making more than $77,000, but they're like legitimately saying that what's her face, Angel says that they should get NBA money.
Yeah. Well, I mean. You got to make NBA money. The WNBA's got to make that kind of money. That's how it works.
Yes, correct. They can't.
It's a different organization.
They go out of business if they paid them. If they paid them 10% of NBA money, they'd go out of business in a year.
Yeah. Is there a world where like the NBA buys the WNBA?
The NBA owns the WNBA.
Do they really?
Yes.
They own it.
It's subsidized by the.
Well,
I'm assuming, but why would the NBA write a $40 million check every year if they didn't? I mean, maybe it's just for. Yeah. Maybe look that up, Brendan. Does the NBA own the WNBA? I assume because it's NBAW, they just put women. Maybe not, but they subsidize it, meaning they write probably $50 to $100 million checks over the years for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they should get paid more soon. But
the NBA owns roughly 60% of the WNBA.
60% of the WNBA. So they own a majority of it. I think that it makes sense to me to like step it up as revenue goes up, which I'm sure they'll get it all figured out. They're small, but like, they should be probably making a couple $100,000 a year, maybe more, and then go to millions a year, but not if they're not making the money.
For sure. There's a lot to this fun conversation.
I know. I like these. The WNBA is like, we probably talked more WNBA than anything else.
I think, being a player in the WNBA right now, especially a younger player that has a career ahead of him, is a very good place to be. But you got to believe in the vision and what is happening. So kind of reminds us in our start, like when we were a startup phase and we brought in like people to like help us grow the business. We can't pay them very much right away.
Yes.
They have to believe in the vision of what we're getting to, and eventually we can pay people like what they deserve.
We're there now.
But it just doesn't happen overnight like that. So I've seen a couple ideas floating around. I know other leagues do this, but like rev share, like a percentage of the revenue that they bring in, then they can divvy that up, and as that grows, then that's their pot.
That's what the NFL is. It's the cap goes up every year based on revenue.
Yeah, and I think NBA is probably the same.
Yeah, I would say they all are certainly the same thing.
So get some sort of that in there, so that the players are incentivized to not only play well, but to grow the brand and to be a good ambassador of the sport, and they would see that directly tied to their paychecks. Yeah. But there's a downside of that too, probably. So if went the other way.
Well, the downside to that is, if they did it that way right now, they would not get paid, or they get paid very little because
they're lucky it's still a league.
Yes.
Honestly.
If the NBA hasn't been subsidized for the past 5 years, it wouldn't even be a league.
Yeah.
So
we got to get through that first, which they should be this
year.
Yes,
I'm sure they will be. I mean, because looking at all the numbers and everything, and just one person is literally making them profitable, which is crazy. So obviously take care of her. It's a whole nother thing about how they weren't really ready for that tsunami, but I guess maybe no one was. because her only comp is Tiger Woods, which is wild, even though
Yeah.
she hasn't really won anything yet. But yeah, I just think it was an interesting topic. I just think it's a little bit tone deaf to wear a shirt says "Pay us what you owe us" when
Yeah.
they're not really owed anything. But I think they should and
They're
will
like,
get
hey,
paid more.
your valuation's doubled, and I'm still getting paid $70,000 a
Yeah,
year.
mhm.
Like, I get it. I'd probably freaking wear it too if I was part of it too.
Yeah.
But, you know, but
I think it's more pay us what you're worth. The
Yeah.
only one that should pay me what you owe me should be Caitlin.
yeah.
But the
Yeah.
other one should be pay us less than Caitlin, but more than you're paying us now. Is what they all should say.
Yeah. Less than her.
Less than
But
her,
more
but
than
more
me.
than what we're making right now. So, anyways, that's trying to give the people more stuff.
Give them what they want.
Give them what they want. More of this.
But more of that.
See you on
All
the
right,
next
guys.
one.
See you.